Brand dharma means brand dharma, not brand dharma. A brand promoted as a doctrine or a philosophy, as the usage of the word dharma would connote, makes it seem like a shadow doctrine. It seems incorrect to me. A code of conduct of a single doctrine, when it is addressed as a plurality, is called its dharma. Brand dharma is surely not a single doctrine, simply because each brand has its own house rules. So for the purpose of this address, I prefer to say brand dharma. Dharma is a larger canvas than dharma. It is not limited to a single philosophy, but that is easier said than done. I find myself in a unique position on the subject of brand dharma. Brand dharma. Brand ka dharma. The dharma of a brand. Where dharma is the code of conduct, the performance, the vision, objectives, ethics, values of a brand. Where the brand represents products and services like food products, consumer durables, etc. Or brand dharma, brand dharmaka, the brand of a dharma, where the brand represents a belief system called dharma, where the vision, mission, objectives, performance of the company's belief system are the brand. The associated products and services are only economic activities, like those of, say, Reliance, Tata's, Patanjali, etc. For example, personally, I'm not sure if branding is the placement of my person or the placement of the products. I cannot say when I'm the brand or when a product is the brand. I do not know where one begins and gives way to the other. But the evidence of this phenomenon of brands is right there in and around us. As of date, my voice and face appear on at least 24 products. From waterproofing to rice, agarbatti, jewelry, mobile phone, DTH, television, hair oil, scooter, medicines, and many others. I do not advertise alcohol, tobacco products, and such alike. That is my dharma. Not doing their ads is my way of saying this is my dharma. But I'm also glad and happy and reflecting that although my dharma cannot prevent a product from existing in the market, brands themselves are now exercising their dharma by declaring the assets of their products in the advertisements as well as in the packaging. I see this as a sign of a healthy market, one unintended, of course, driven by a righteous brand dharma. Now, all this may sound as being unnecessarily loquacious from an uneducated brag, but I do hope you will pardon my impertinence. I am simply thinking aloud, and if I may miss the mark, please, I seek forgiveness. I am not a master of this craft of selling and marketing brands. Far from the mastery, you can't even sell a bottle of drinking water to a thirsty person without your ingenious scripts. Left to myself, I am more likely to give away a bottle of water free and hope to see some signs of gratitude, which doesn't quite work in the real market, as you know. I do not call myself an advertiser. I have no credentials to call myself that. Before anything else, I am a poet's son. I'm inclined to give away the worth of my offering in exchange of a word of genuine appreciation. Your admiration of my work is my profit. Now, if any commerce results from my work, I have only to thank and credit it to the ingenuity of investors, makers, advertisers who are able to translate the value of my voice and face into real worth. Believe me, no one is more surprised than I when I'm told that a product is selling because I am presenting it. It sounds to me like crediting a rooster for the sunshine or the sunrise. Having said that, I must admit that there has been that odd occasion when it has worked. I remember the Cadbury campaign. Sales had dropped drastically due to the presence of elements in the product, and the sales rose substantially after I was employed to be a part of a rather aggressive ad campaign. Why only products? Even in public interest campaigns like the polio eradication campaign, which was spearheaded by nationwide advertisements, the results were very heartening. India, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, is now polio-free. At the August offices of the United Nations in New York, when they were giving me a declaration on the success of the polio campaign, it was revealed that when they asked a lady in one of the villages of India why she had shied away from the dosage to her child earlier and now submitted to it, she said, you know, when I heard Mr. Bachchan getting upset and angry, I got scared and quickly administered the medicine to my child. It was the designing by O&M and Piyush Pandey, who is here today with us, of a rather presumptuous epithet attributed to me of the angry young man. An image that I had been carrying for more than 3 decades, which seemed to have done the trick. But I'm digressing. To get back to the subject, consider an example. If I were to sell a leaf of neem, or a leaf of aloe vera, or a leaf of tulsi, it would only be another herb which is commonly used in many households. They will say, you know, this leaf can do wonders, try it for this, 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 and this. Or, boys and girls, please try this leaf. I am told by reliable sources that pimples pop like soap bubbles when they sense this leaf within a whiffing distance, things like that. That wouldn't be branding, honestly. That could be generic information shared with everyone for the benefit of all. But if you package the leaves in tubes and give them names and pay the appropriate GST, then I think it is a brand. I'm not an advertising guru. I do not know how branding works in the colleges. I cannot say exactly how it creates buying pressure on the target audience, but it does work. I can say this much. I have noticed it myself. I have a significant number of followers on social media, and I find that a good word and a message, a genuine concern, goes a long way in today's world of rapid communication. The results may not be visible in a sense, nor may a word on the social media be a great asset for opinion building, like the traditional media, but the focus that can be claimed to a specific object or subject through the social media is undeniable. Social media may not be news, and to especially Mr. Anpuri here. Social media may not be news, and best not to elaborate on that for fear of obvious controversy, but it is certainly a call to attention. It works for good. I share what I can, and in turn, I receive from millions. Perhaps I should also share some home truths about advertising that amaze me. In the past, when there was no radio, TV, and internet, there were spots in marketplaces where people of immense thrift and enterprise auctioned goods at the top of their voices. It sounded more like several horns blowing in the air all at once. The open market worked so fast that an unsuspecting bystander in the crowd, just staring around for a while, would often be surprised to find himself in possession of something he didn't need. You will still find some alcoves like that on the old streets of Mumbai where before you know what is happening, you find yourself in possession of a spacesuit, a parachute, and possibly a shipping gear. You never know how you ended up buying the stuff. You remember a few minutes too late that you live on the 14th floor of a housing colony in the suburb, but you're already loaded with the stuff. So it baffles me endlessly. I mean, how does this work? I'm sure some of you are able to give that answer. The customer is king, say some intelligent advertisers, and rightly so. But that is where the metaphor ends. The sheer magic of advertising makes this sentimental king buy things which he never needed. So how do you do that? I can understand the eagerness of advertisers to become the most preferred providers of their products and services. That is pretty fair. But advertising seems to go a step further. It creates a demand for goods where there may be no demand to begin with. How do you do that? This is quite astonishing. Add to the task of increasing demand the pressure of research, innovations, inflation, rise and fall of the buying power of the currency, year-on-year growth of income, which is expected by investors and stakeholders, and a whole lot of other commercial pressures. How do advertisers deal with that? Is monopoly an answer? No. Monopoly can never be a tool to tackle these challenges. Monopoly actually kills the need for advertising. Who would need to advertise if the product has a monopoly? It's like some of the research products in the pharmaceutical industry. They are so unique in their applications that they have no competition. They don't need advertising. The same applies to some fields like medical equipment, space technologies, distribution networks, and many such. Market economics is not about monopolies, quite the contrary. So then is regulation an answer? Can regulation ensure a fair, competitive market which will control uncertainties and reduce risks? Perhaps not. Regulation, I presume, cannot create a demand for goods. Regulation cannot ensure growth. This, I feel, is the biggest challenge faced by advertisers. One of sustaining demand and ensuring growth. This is also, I feel, where the ethics of branding faces its biggest existential challenge: competition. What is fair in competition? I noticed that no two brands of similar products advertise the same USP. Each brand highlights something different. I mean, every detergent cannot say we remove the same stains. Each brand adds something unique, which is unlike any of the rest. This competition among brands has an intrinsic benefit for the consumer. It puts pressure on each brand to invest in research and development of the products. Every company, be it a manufacturer or a service provider, invests in continual improvement in the quality of its products and professional development of its key staff. There are only two options. Either you grow or you perish. Also, redundant technologies cannot last long in a competitive market, even though the markets are as large and diverse as ours. There was a time when 30 to 50-year-old technologies were dumped in India by nations which did not consider us rich enough for the latest innovations. But the situation is different today. We are now among the countries where multinationals launch their newest products simultaneously with their own markets. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, nowhere is this more evident than the profession I come from, films. Hollywood has in recent times done a simultaneous release of their films, and at times even before their own, compared with earlier years when their films hit the local market after a gap of several months, at times several years. So competition offers more choices and can seek the best value for money. We now have an option to choose from goods and services made in India, to China, to Japan, to Europe, and all the rest of the world. I am particularly impressed and hopeful by the entry and rise of homemade brands in the past few years. Products made locally are competing with the best in the world today in household FMCG as well as industrial technology brands. I think we are at a promising stage in a globalized market, and I hope to see this trend lead us to become world leaders very soon. Competition does have a prevailing influence on various virtues of a brand. For example, the integrity of a brand is the sum of several component features. Primarily the reliable performance of the product, the effectiveness of the leadership, the pride of the stakeholders, and the confidence of the customer. The endurance of a brand is tested by the efficiency of each one of these components. And I think competition keeps them on their toes. However, the question for us is, Does competition decide the dharma of a brand? Are the merits of a product enough to meet the sales targets? Or is there more than performance to make the product a best-seller? Should an advertisement tweak the truth about the brand to attract more attention? Does a brand become better or worse if it is promoted by a celebrity? Does a celebrity assure better performance? Does a celebrity guarantee the best in-class quality of a product? I've often been at the receiving end of these questions. And in reality, ladies and gentlemen, I should be the last person to know the answer. Frankly, I don't know. A person buys something trusting my voice and presentation. If he's not happy with the product or service, he writes back to me with some annoyance. Now, that is putting it too mildly. They actually take me to court. And I speak from personal experience. I do not know if this is justified, but that is such as it is. Is a celebrity deserving of such? What is the responsibility of my voice and face in the promotion of an object? What is the code of conduct expected of me by those who trust my voice? And above all, what is the accountability of the brand towards the consumer? Let me try to find a few answers. Correct me if I'm wrong. A brand, I think, is a named product lawfully owned by a person or a company. It represents something unique about the product. Well, I suspect in some cases only the name of the brand seems to be unique, but I guess that is lawful too. And what is the dharma of the brand? I have no clue. The nearest I can guess is that the dharma of the brand is an assurance that the product will perform as is claimed by the label. If it fails to deliver, then it fails its dharma. We cannot treat customers as experimental subjects. Dharma does not permit that. I'm tempted to expand this line of thought to more than a mere product. Dharma, I feel, should have a more inclusive and a comprehensive meaning. When I say, kuch din to guzariye Gujarat mein, I am not selling Gujarat. When I say, do boon zindagi ke, I am not selling the vaccine of polio. When I say, swachh man, swachh tan, swachh bharat mera parichay, I am not selling hygiene. The brand here is social justice. Its dharma is its function.